Hi everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and let's go ahead and get started. Now here I'm showing some pattern pieces that I have cut out. Now this material I found at Walmart for $1 per yard for a knit material. It's not very great knit, but I like to use it when I'm doing a new pattern just to make sure that everything is fitting correctly before cutting into any nicer material. So I was debating on making some tank tops for my boys as they were doing tumbling class, and I wanted something tighter fit. So I created this pattern and I decided to get rid of the sleeves and just go with a tank top style as that suited them best. Now I made this in summertime, so don't worry about the weather, they are not cold. So here is my tank top pattern. I have a lower cut in the front and a higher cut in the back, which I could have cut this even lower after I put the neckline in. It was quite high, but I was good with that. Now all you have to do is sew the shoulders together and the side seams down first, and then for the armholes and the neckline we're going to be doing the same type of binding in order to clean up those raw edges. Now when I tried it on my son, it was way too baggy around his ribs because my son is super petite, so I did have to curve it in after test trying it on him to make sure the fit was nice and snug. After getting super happy with the way it was fitting on my son, which I did trim off a little bit of the arms, I went ahead and serged everything so I had nice clean edges. And now I'm going to be doing a type of binding where I can't remember the title for it, just like in my last video, but basically you're going to measure the opening, measure your armhole or the neckline, and then you're going to times it by 0.85, and that will give you your new measurement, and then you're going to want to create kind of a tube of that measurement, and then you'll serge it in. So here I am doing my armhole, so you're going to put the right sides together and sew it along the edge, so you're creating this tubing. So you're going to do that for both arms and also for the neck. Now in my experience, I've been told times it by 0.85, but honestly I add a little bit extra because sometimes I feel like I'm pulling a little bit too tight. So now that you've created your tube, you're going to fold it over so both inside and out has the right sides, so as the wrong sides are folded together. And then I'm going to mark where the halfway points are so I know where I'm stretching to make sure that I have an even stretch all the way around. This is where you're going to want to make sure that you are sewing it correctly, so make sure you're doing right sides together. So here I am matching up the seam to the bottom of my armhole, and then where I measured that halfway mark, I'm going to make sure that I pin it to the shoulder seam up there, and then that's how I know where it should stretch along that line. So I make sure all the raw edges are on the outside, and here you can do your zigzag stitch or you can just serge it all the way around. Once you have it how you like, make sure to then flip it so the raw edges are on the inside. And now you can see that we have created an arm space, and I made sure it was nice and snug on my kid's arm. Now you could do it looser, but sometimes it just doesn't look as nice, which is why you're supposed to times it by 0.85 in the length, but I think it takes a little bit of experimenting. So you're going to do the same thing for the neckline, but instead of just marking the halfway point, I'm going to mark 4 different sides so I can stretch it a little bit more evenly around. So I did go ahead and make 2 because I do have 2 boys, both in tumbling. So here you can see this one that was finished. So the arms on this one I did a little bit thicker of a binding, which worked just because of how it sat on his arms. But of course you can do it as thin or as, well, I guess not as thick as you like. If you go too thick, it's going to look a little bit odd. And then I made sure to hem the bottom. Now I did make these a little bit long so that they could tuck nicely into their shorts without coming undone during the tumbling class. You could use the same concept to make your own tank top. You could make it for a young girl as well, make the neckline a little bit lower and more flattering. You could also use this same concept to make a full leotard for a girl as well.